Hi, I'm Jonah Comstock, Editor-in-Chief of pharmaphorum, and I'm joined by Eron Kelly, the CEO of ConcertAI. We're outside LSX in the Westin. Happy to make this connection and hear a little bit about what you guys do.
Great. Really nice to meet you today. Thanks for taking the time.
So tell me the elevator pitch in a nutshell about ConcertAI.
Yeah, so at ConcertAI, we're focused on how do we optimize and improve the experience between the patient and the physician. And specifically, we've got a lot of focus in the oncology area. So how do we make that experience better? Well, how do we do that? We do that by delivering great data and agentic AI solutions that help oncologists make better decisions, provide better care to patients, get easier access to, say, clinical trials that better support those patients. That data is then packaged up and provided to life sciences so that they can develop better therapeutics and bring the right drugs to market faster. And ultimately, we're creating a bit of a symbiotic relationship between improving the oncologist experience with patients, improving the therapeutics that come to market, which ultimately benefit the oncologists and patients.
That's really interesting. There's a lot of pieces to unpack
there.
Yeah. So what is it sounds like the main kind of product is physician facing for the oncologists?
There's two, really. So the CancerLinQ network represents a network of oncologists that use our software to help do things like quality measurement so they can improve how they're delivering and measuring how they're delivering great care to patients. We're adding a new set of features to the CancerLinQ suite of technologies this quarter that helps oncologists better identify clinical trials, better identify different treatment regimens that best support that patient. So we have a concept or a product feature set called Cohort Builder. So imagine you're an oncologist and I'm your patient, and you finish the first line of therapy, you're trying to decide what to do for second line. Being able to create a cohort of 600 patients with the same biomarkers, the same diagnosis, the same history as me, to then help guide your diagnosis is what we're doing in CancerLinQ. We're making those investments there, but again, that data is packaged up. It's available for life sciences to be licensed, as well as delivered through what we call the Precision Suite, which is an agentic AI suite that allows HEOR epidemiologists to interrogate that data through a co-pilot-like interface. It allows folks running clinical development or clinical trials to find the right sites, find the right patients at that sites, all through an agentic AI layer, or as well as commercial brand managers who are interested in better understanding where are the right patients that would support their commercial endeavors. So
interesting. So different parts of the business can make use of that data.
Exactly. And we're delivering it all through an agentic AI interface, delivered through as software as a service to both the life sciences side and the provider side. So both are very, very important to the overall strategy.
Now, I've heard it is very hard to get physicians to change their workflow and adopt new technology. What's your approach there?
In part, a key part is integrating with the EHR. So we have Epic integration for these scenarios and solutions. So oncologists, as they're treating patients, can get access to some of this data and information and clinical decision support right through Epic.
And what does it look like for the patient? I mean, is there any change in their experience, or just hopefully their oncologist is better informed, is more able to give them a range of options?
Today, that's our solution right now is focused on oncologists. We don't really have a patient-facing interface today, but the idea being as a patient, I can have more confidence that my oncologist is looking at lots of options. And in some cases, they may share some of this analysis with the patient to help them understand, okay, here's patients just like you, here's what their experience has been, and looking at things like Kaplan-Meier curves to determine time to discontinue treatment. There's lots of different treatment paths, and the physician may want to share with the patient, hey, here's some different options that we can work through, and here's how other patients like you have responded to these different therapies.
So it sounds like there's a strong dependence on like a good network effect here, right? Getting a lot of folks to adopt, and then the value of the product increases because their data is in it. Mm-hmm. How kind of far along would you say you are sort of on that adoption curve and generally in kind of the journey of getting this into the hands of a lot of oncologists?
Yeah, well, it was really important about a year and a half ago when we bought the CancerLinQ community, because that allowed us to really create that center of gravity. And now we're growing that community, site by site, hospital by hospital, and that will continue to be a key focus for us in the coming months, quarters, and years. So that's an important part of the journey for sure. And then similarly, getting life sciences customers engaged with our new Agentic AI products is a key focus for us as well. So creating the flywheel on both sides is definitely where we're spending our time.
And how important is the Agentic AI to the whole thing? I mean, I obviously you guys were kind of around before that technology came into the mix, but what does it give you, and how does it kind of level you up?
Yeah, I think fundamentally it's about compressing time, right? The one commodity that we can't get back is time. And the one thing that these solutions do is meaningfully compress time. So whether it's an HER study that might have taken 3 months to do, can we make that 3 weeks, right? That compression of time is super valuable. Also, timeliness is really important as well. So as we're taking, we'll take physician notes from the oncologists. We'll then use AI to curate those notes, to turn them into structured data that can then be used to create cohorts and identify trial matching. In the past, when you did that without AI, that might take months or even a quarter to curate. So by the time you had that information curated and you're able to put it back to the physicians to create a cohort, that window of time where your patient may have been eligible for a trial has passed. So by using Agentic AI, we're compressing the time in a meaningful way. We're using agents to perform multiple tasks at once and not just a singular task. Like in the past where you might have a NLP solution that performs a single task, but then you've got to link that together with multiple other tasks. Our agents are designed and built with specific use cases in mind that perform multiple tasks at once. Again, ultimately the goal is compressing time and providing more timely information to oncologists to make better decisions, or life sciences organizations to make better decisions about which sites they choose, how they want to bring their therapeutics to market, et cetera.
So our audience, our readers and viewers are mostly from the pharma side. So let's talk a little more about kind of what the benefits are there. You mentioned a couple of different areas of the business that could potentially benefit from this data, but what are some ways that you're seeing life sciences companies use this data?
So, I mean, one of the key areas is in, HER studies or epidemiology studies where they're trying to understand the outcomes of their therapeutics against very specific patient sets. So this is where the data has historically been used. But increasingly now that we put a new Agentic AI layer on top of it, it just allows them to get to those answers much faster and build those reports faster. So we're really excited to see that direction that takes. Similarly, in the area of clinical trials, we've done work there historically in helping life sciences find patients with sort of patient matching solutions. Increasingly now, this having an Agentic AI layer on top of that allows a clinical development organization to, all right, let me quickly digitize EiC criteria for a trial. So we have a cohort agent that creates that cohort based on EiC criteria, and it's all automatic. So you literally enter in a Word document with prose describing the EiC criteria. That's translated into a cohort agent. The agent translates that into like basically a JSON document that goes through, looks at our data set and says, okay, based on your cohort, here's the number of patients we have. Now, a second agent might say, well, which sites would be most optimal for that? The second agent goes in and looks at all the site data relevant to that patient type that's been defined by the cohort, looks at historical performance of those sites, and then creates a site recommendation. So clinical trials is another key area, and then in commercial as well.
So like MSLs maybe?
Yeah, exactly. And increasingly, as I look forward a little bit into the future, providing some agents for FRMs as well. So really kind of exciting about where we can go with this.
That's really interesting. I just did a piece about MSLs and AI, and folks were talking about sort of how having access to that data about physicians themselves. Who's doing what, prescribing what, going to what conferences, doing what research is really useful.
Yeah, we think about it at the organizational level and provide that information. It's really helpful to help identify where can we provide support as a life sciences organization.
Great. Well, this has been really interesting. I appreciate hearing about what you do. Any sort of general thoughts about the space that you work in and where it's going?
I think whenever you've got a space that generates this much data, there's always going to be an opportunity to leverage cloud technologies that allow you to bring virtually unlimited compute and storage to the party to help find new insights and have more impact. But I think then the next stage, of course, is AI, which is allowing us to analyze that data at a massive scale and synthesize literally billions and billions of attributes to provide better recommendations that ultimately allow better decisions to be made, either at the provider side or the life sciences side. We believe very strongly that you always want to keep that human in the loop, but we believe that AI can really help distill down huge amounts of data to provide interesting recommendations or suggestions. And that's where I see the market going across the board.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Eron. I really appreciate it.
Very nice meeting you as well.